everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress, of a podcast about movies, TV shows, video games, and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today. And with me, per usual, are one of your other hosts. You know him as Brian, aka The Beard, aka New Reliable, aka the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative on a Dragon Ball Z Redemption arc. Hello, Brian. How are you doing today, man?
I look like shit on this camera, and it's actually upsetting me a whole lot. My eyes are so small. I've been drinking for a long time of this day. Uh, and I think that's been affecting me negatively because, yeah.
No.
But it's okay. We're still here. We're chilling. We're having a good day.
Brian, there was an option of not recording today, but you said whatever works.
Listen, that Monday was going to look very Tuesday, and that Tuesday was going to look very Wednesday. We're recording today.
Fair enough.
I'm not so high that I can't record.
Yes. So, listeners, it is just me and Brian this week. We're going to be chatting about some stuff. As you can see, it's lots of interesting stuff, lots of grimy, businessy stuff, scammy stuff, shitty stuff, but an exciting main topic that we're going to have some fun with. As usual, if there's anything you want to skip or avoid, spoilers or anything like that, check time codes. It's all down there in the description in the show notes. With that, though, Brian, shall we head into our first segment of the week?
Yes.
News talk.
Also, don't skip anything because we're a lot of fun and really interesting, and you should like us.
Yeah. Please. All right, here we go. First piece of news for the week. We got two combo wombos of Sony and Microsoft. We'll discuss the Sony one first, of just being, businesses, and businesses do real shitty things. Let's start with Sony, though. Sony, they announced this past week that they are raising the price of the PlayStation Plus 12-month subscriptions across all of their tiers, because we realized that they have their 3-tier system that people use. Apparently, I don't. I only have the first one, the essential, because
do you really? I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I thought you would have the tier 3.
Absolutely not. No, I barely got time to play PS5 games, let alone go back and play some PS2,
That's
PS1, PS3 games. So
that's
no, was not worth it to me. So yeah, I've just been stuck to the basic yearly PlayStation Plus subscription, which was keyword $59.99, so $60 a year. It is now going to be $79.99.
That's actually, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much of a huge difference, but that's really crazy because like $60 has always made sense. I don't know how to explain why that just works, but $60 for 12 months is just like the standard for a subscription service.
Like, it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it's still like $20 extra a year, and like just the idea of jumping from 60 to 80 is a lot. Especially, and it's funny that they announced it right around the time they announced the PS Plus games for this month, and one of them being Saints Row, and it's like, yo, bro, what? That game is not very good, and y'all are saying that this price hike is so that you get better stuff on there and everything. It's like, come on, guys.
Oh, that's really funny because that company is going out of business.
Yes, that was a separate piece of news I forgot to mention. We
They're
talked about
going out of business right now because that game was so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a great. So what did they have a reasoning? Did they say like? Did they make a statement?
No, absolutely
of why
not.
they
Again,
did it?
look. Actually, well, yes, I will say that on the PlayStation blog, this is the quote that they explain the significant price hike. Quote, the price adjustment will enable us to continue bringing high-quality games and value-added benefits to your PlayStation Plus subscription service, end quote. Again, you did it when you put Saints Row, a game that was very bad on this. Like, what are you... This is what the money's going for?
They pulled the landlord card where it's like, we've made a lot of changes to our... No, you didn't. You did nothing. Nothing is updated about my apartment. Why are you charging me $50 extra? Yeah, I don't like this.
Honestly, I mean, most people have been like speculating. It's honestly because they know that a lot of big games coming out. Spider-Man 2 is coming out, and so that's probably it's gonna be a similar thing to when we talk about Microsoft. It's just some big thing that they know is gonna a shit ton of people are gonna buy PS5s for, and therefore probably buy PS Plus for. Raise the price now before this huge blockbuster game comes out.
Which is funny because they're at least a little bit more I guess
covert.
Yeah, I don't even say covert, but like they had a little bit more plan about it. Whereas Xbox, which we're gonna talk about.
We'll talk about it in a second.
Did a really shitty thing.
Before we move on to Xbox, I will say that I mean with the price increase, it's still at a discounted rate than if you were to buy it in the other two plans, which are monthly and also buy 3 months at a time. That price is still, the yearly price is still less than those ones.
How much does the first price cost? Because I have Final Fantasy VII that I need to play.
Monthly is $9.99 a month.
don't want to pay $10 to play that. We'll figure that out later. It doesn't matter. I have Final Fantasy VII, but it's tagged to PlayStation
Right.
Plus, and that sucks.
So if like that's what I'm saying. So like monthly $9.99, that's obviously going to be like a little less than $120 a year, which is
Right.
less than the 80, obviously. And then their 3-month plan is, I think it's $12.99.
Yeah, they want you to pay the whole year. That's just a bit.
I think it's $24.99. But exactly. So yeah, it's a shitty business move. I mean, you see why they do it purely for that, but
right.
it still kind of sucks. I don't really want to pay $80 a month for that, but
because it just doesn't feel like they're giving you enough to warrant it right now. And I think that's the
Exactly.
big issue with PlayStation as a whole when it comes to that. Is like, is this worth it?
And it might be a thing where PlayStation for me might become like a different every other streaming service where it's like, because right now the only reason I have PS Plus, one, yeah, free games is cool. But I don't play most of them. I just like adding them because if like I'll play that one day, but I never fucking do.
Little
It's for the online component. Like I play a lot of Destiny every now and then, or
Right.
Call of Duty or some shit. That's literally the main reasoning behind it. And so it might be a thing where it's like, I know I'm not gonna play this for a couple months. I could just not have it, but it's just that weird online component. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Who knows?
It's the HBO Max where it's like I watch HBO Max when there's something coming on, and then I promptly
Exactly.
stop it afterwards.
Yep. Moving on. Let's talk about the other side of this coin with some Microsoft. Brian, what the fuck? tell me what they did.
So I like this a lot less than what PlayStation did because we all know that Starfield was the game to watch out for in September. That everyone was like, this is one of the best games that come out for Xbox and PC. They decided to get rid of the $1 Xbox Game Pass deal that's been a thing since Xbox Game Pass came a thing, and a lot of people and people do disrespect it for sure. Like I'm not gonna pretend that people don't abuse the system when it comes down to it, but they decided to quietly delete it right before Starfield came out.
Yep.
Because Starfield came out. So that was 100% the reason. And we all know that
because
was the reason
it's $1 for a 14-day trial,
right? For a 14-day trial, which, I mean, if you're really gaming, you can definitely beat a whole game in 14 days for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they decided to quietly delete that so you actually pay the full price. And this is coming after the fact that Xbox Game Pass actually went up a couple dollars for a lot of people in this situation. So I get it. It's another one of those situations. I understand from a business model. But the way that you went about it is a little disrespectful, I think.
Oh my God, yeah. This is, like you said, this is the most obvious. It's because Starfield's coming out.
It's 100% because Starfield's coming. Because this has been a thing literally since Xbox Game Pass came out. It has not gone away at any point in the past like 3-4 years that this has existed. So to have this change now, it's like, oh, well, that's funny.
Right. I mean, Microsoft did like confirm that they would put an end to it earlier this year. That $1 or no, this was to the monthly $1 Xbox Ultimate trial, but then they brought back the 14-day one that we talked about. But then, again, businesses, doing business.
Yeah,
and it sucks. It's scummy. Again, it goes back to when we were talking about. I was like, how are they going to make any money on Starfield?
And that's the biggest thing. And honestly, I'm surprised at how many people pre-ordered it to get the the early access. This is a one-player game. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So that's a big thing as well. It's a one-player game. It doesn't matter when you play this game. You're always gonna have the same experience, regardless, outside of like updates and stuff like that. So to convince people to pay $90 in order to play this game before everyone else, and not that much. Like it came out August 31st. The actual game comes out September 6th. That's crazy to me that people were willing to pay that much more money for a game that is coming out on Game Pass, which is still $10 a month. Yeah. And it's worked so far. So they're still making money somehow. But even then, I understand them still being a little bit weary because this is supposed to be their blockbuster.
Yeah.
This is what Redfall was supposed to be before we found out it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Which I played a good amount of it. It fucking sucks. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of worries me almost that they're putting so much stake in, like, oh, we got to make sure people actually pay for this game. Is this game good? Is it worth paying money for?
Look, early reviews are coming out. People, it's been ranging from 3 out of 5s, 4 out of 5s, or 6s to 8s and 9s.
Yeah, I'm about to say Metacritic, I think, is like 88% last time I saw. I don't know if it's still that much.
Right.
Yeah, 88. So that's better than I expected. I was expecting a solid maybe 7.5.
I told you. I think I expected like an 8. I think.
Yeah.
Again, most Bethesda games are good. They're not bad games. They're janky as fuck when they first launch, which this is absolutely going to be full of jank. But I think I've been hearing a lot more negative. It might be, and we'll talk more about this in our main topic in a second, that it just hype.
Yeah, I think it got overhyped.
Hype has been such a thing that's plagued. I feel like within the past few years, hype has just utterly ruined so many things for
My
everyone.
favorite things are because I skip the hype, like Breaking Bad, stuff like that. Like just everything. Like
Right.
as soon as when I heard too many white people talking about it, I was like, I don't want to care about it too much because I know I'm gonna be disappointed. So I waited a long time to watch Breaking Bad, and I feel like that was a really great thing for me to do. And I just think that maybe this game
Mhm.
might be the same. And it sucks because I don't get excited about games very often. I just don't get excited about much. Period. Because I'm
Right.
I'm me. Look at me. Uh, so for me to be excited about this game is almost kind of scary because like I'm afraid that I'm gonna be disappointed if it doesn't give me what I want. I guess is the
Mhm.
big thing. So, and I'm sure that's everybody's like that.
I definitely think there'll be people that fully love this game. I think there'll be people that are very
Yeah,
disappointed by
I
it.
think
I
that
think it's gonna range.
you have to temper your expectations, and I think a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they want a No Man's Sky mixed with fucking Mass Effect, and it's not that. And you just have to
It's a
accept that.
Bethesda game.
Yeah, it's a
And
Bethesda
we'll talk
game.
about it more in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Yeah, so whatever, Microsoft. Cool. Good for you. Business is business. Y'all suck. Moving on. Speaking of businesses, business being business, it looks like shit, we might be getting some more strike stuff coming down the pipeline. And because this is reported by Variety that as we know, SAG is on strike right now, along with the writers. We know that's all happening. But apparently SAG said they're in negotiations towards a new video game contract, or their negotiations towards a new video game contract have reached a stalemate, and that is the strike would be the next best step to quote win wage increases and protection from artificial intelligence against video
We're not gonna
game
get video
companies.
games. We're not gonna get movies. We're not gonna see. Well, there's nothing. What the
Bro, we're gonna
fuck
have to
do
start
I
going
do?
outside and climbing trees and fucking going on tire swings and shit.
We're going back to the old school days, bro. Where you gotta fucking ride your bike because there's nothing else
We're
to
gonna have
do.
to start buying chalk.
But I mean, this is a long time in the making. I'm sure you're aware of that. We talked about this before at some point, but Blizzard's one of the first like gaming companies to actually unionize, and a big portion of the reason around that was the fact that they just weren't being paid properly. Outside of the other bullshit that Blizzard goes through. But I know a lot of people that work at Blizzard and a lot of people that work in QA, and one of the biggest things was they make like $17 an hour, and that's after strikes. They make $17 an hour, and they live in Irvine, California, where
Right, that's
one bedroom rent is average $2,400.
yeah, that's nothing. You'll die.
You literally cannot live on your own if you work at Blizzard Entertainment as a QA person. That
Yeah.
is despicable. I can't even live here. I live in Virginia and I can't even live there for over 17. You know what I mean? Like I can't, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
no.
And to live in Irvine, California, one of the highest places to live, you can't do it because of the way it's so they striked over that because they were like, well, we should deserve at least a slightly livable wage, and that was a pay raise for a lot of those people. They were making 15. So gaming
Mhm.
deserves it.
Yeah. Especially now when we get to more modern games where they're putting so much more work on the actors in them in terms of motion capture as work as well as the voice work. Like for like games like Last of Us and God of War, they're putting these people in these suits that you would put on a film set if you're doing like a CG character with the ping pong balls or whatever and the head cams and everything. And they're acting in like basically a theater mode. That and like they're no longer just going into a booth and saying lines.
Yeah, to call those people voice actors is almost disrespectful to them because they do so much more than that. They are not
Right.
voice actors. They are actors. They are doing
Yeah.
the job of an actor, and they are getting paid so much less than a lot of those people. And I know
Yes.
that the big issue with the SAG and the whole, like, the biggest people, I got Matt
Right.
Damon. He makes, $1 million a day, whatever the fuck. But so many
Right.
of these actors are not that. I mean,
No.
the same way that streamers exist and you have people at the highest level, you also have people that are just making enough to survive. And those are the people that are getting fucked the
Mhm.
most in these situations. And the same thing goes for gaming. For Blizzard
Yep.
Entertainment, there was always called the Blizzard like curse or the Blizzard pay deduction to you work at Blizzard for the existence of saying that you work at Blizzard, but you make less
Right.
money. You would make more
You get
money
the
working
clout.
at literally another company, but you get the clout, of working at
Mhm.
Blizzard is priceless, quote unquote. It's not.
It's not. It's
Especially now, it's not fucking. But that was kind of one of those things, and it's like that. Just
Yeah,
we got to get past these kind of things. Just pay your fucking
absolutely.
people. Gaming right now, like video games, make more than movies and fucking
Mhm.
music combined right now. It is the highest grossing media we have that exists right now,
It's
and
crazy.
you're
Yeah,
still paying people that low. That
yeah.
makes no sense.
So, like, the current contract that what they're talking about potentially striking is with the companies of, like, Activision, EA, Insomniac, Epic Games, and WB Games, and a bunch more. So those are a lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Obviously, we just talked about Spider-Man 2 about to come out. That's Insomniac. Those games like that. We got obviously WB Games who they produce so many things. Obviously, Batman, fucking Injustice, Mortal Kombat, shit like that.
Mortal Kombat 1 is going to have DLC. Are they going to be voice actors for that? Like
Exactly. Shit. Especially with that stuff like that. You got fucking John Cena, Homelander, Omni-Man coming into Injustice 2. They've already, or not Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 1. They've already announced, and they said J.K. Simmons is going to do the voice of that. If this strike happens, is he gonna do the voice of that or not?
Right.
What's gonna happen there? So yeah, and look, I'm very happy that people are learning that, yeah, this probably should have been happening years and years ago. And I think obviously, like, the more people do it, hopefully the more eyes are on it, more solidarity, and then things will actually happen and shift and change and for good, you
Right.
know. But again, it's gonna be a cold few seasons for everyone in terms of media.
Yeah, being selfish, it's sad that this happens, but also I always want
Right.
people to be properly compensated for their art that they create. So
Yeah, and again, it goes back to it's that a lot one of the major components that they're trying to fight against is the whole AI component
yeah,
because it's a scary thing, man.
I mean, we saw Secret Invasion literally has an AI intro, like and that
Yep,
was a whole
yep,
issue. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing,
yep.
dude?
Not the smartest move.
Yeah, capitalism is disgusting, and people always want to save a dollar as opposed to paying people appropriately, and I hate it here.
Also, apparently, the last time that SAG went on strike against gaming companies was in October 26th, and it lasted for 11 months.
God damn. Okay, so 2024 is chalked. Let's just pull that right now. We're 24. We're fucked. 2025. That's our year, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be quiet. It's gonna be quiet for some
Woof.
time.
I got some time to catch up on some shit, so it's cool.
Yeah, but also moving on to a similar realm. This is according to Variety. Apparently, some Disney 18 in-house Disney VFX crew members have signaled their design to unionize in a filing with the National Labor Relations Board that they might potentially unionize, which is great because we also know that much like many people who are working for big companies, this is another subsection where, yeah, these artists and these people that are fucking busting their ass want better benefits and want better things in life for the work that they put in. Because they also, obviously, in the world that we live in with so much CG being used, yeah, they're fucking dying.
Yeah, I don't know much about like. It sounds like Disney has their own like in-house studio that does VFX, but a
Right.
lot of companies contract. They literally post out in order to get that kind of stuff to get done, and because
Mhm.
of that, it becomes contract work, which makes a lot of bidding. And because of that, people usually go for the lowest price. So
Right.
companies usually go way below what they would probably normally ask for because they just want to get, like if you want Marvel to like you want to get a Marvel contract, you're going to go real low so that Marvel will pick you, which is
Yeah.
Disney, of course. And then because of that, they'll end up, people get paid shit over it. And that was a really big issue in that whole space. So those people are working for fucking nothing to make, big budget, $1 billion making movies. That's so shitty. Like, what are we
Yep.
doing here? So please
Yeah.
unionize. They need to unionize in order to,
Mhm.
to not have that be a thing where you have to fucking fight for your rights.
Yeah. Especially like as we could, like CGI is not going anywhere.
Right.
Everyone knows. Like that is staying here for a long. I don't see a world where these businesses are like, you know what, we're gonna go back to doing things practically, where we had to spend a lot more money into than
Evil
more
Dead
time.
is the only
Yeah.
thing that I know that does that.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah. Also, I don't know if we talked about this in the past, but obviously they joined some of the Marvel VFX workers who were also trying to unionize. So again, hopefully these are steps in the right direction and they get this done and they don't just get stomped out and crushed in their big business.
We don't give enough credit to the fact that having a global pandemic caused a lot of these issues. We never
Right.
had a big worker like just revolution in
Yeah.
100 years basically before this. So I think just people having the time in order to set this up is we're still seeing the after effects, even though COVID is we forgot about it, we saying it doesn't exist anymore. We're still seeing the effects of it though over the
Right.
workers' rights because people just decided like they understood like oh I deserve more than this.
Hmm. I
So
think a lot of people realize, shit, I could have been doing my job from home in the comfortability of my own home this whole time. Like all these things happen, and so it's like, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I love to see it. I love to see workers' rights be manifested, and I just want to see them win. So I'm into
absolutely,
it. Why do
absolutely.
2005 VFX look the same as 2023 VFX? Because they don't have fucking time to do it. Stop that.
Right,
Give them
right.
time. Let them work. Let them motherfuckers cook.
Exactly. You think though, yeah, the pandemic would have delayed some stuff so people could have the time, but nope. Now they're just like, we wasted time. Get your ass in there.
That Black Panther shit was terrible. Let's not do that again.
Yeah. Moving on. I wish Devin was here because listeners, if you listened to last week, Devin's free for all complained about how we finished Dune Messiah, the sequel book to Dune, and how he really hated it and hope it didn't get adapted. Well, news to him. This was in an interview in Empire Magazine. Fucking Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune, obviously in the upcoming Dune Part 2, which was delayed to I think March next year, teased a bit that he wants to turn Dune into a trilogy and he wants to adapt a Dune Messiah, a book that Devin so that's fun.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I think Dune struggles for a lot of the same things that Star Wars does, which is funny because George Lucas definitely stole Star Wars from Dune.
Oh yeah.
In that you get a little too into the weeds where maybe you probably shouldn't have, and maybe should have kept it as the cool one book that you made.
Right. Yeah, like obviously I don't know the story of Dune Messiah, so I don't know where the story goes. I wonder if it's a thing that he'll maybe truly adapt it in terms of like he will make it his own and fix the problems with it. But I also could see him as he loves the source material so much that he's just gonna make that book into a movie.
Just knowing the story of Dune, there's a good finality there that I don't know that the third, or I guess it's the second book, but the sequel, I don't know that it feels good to keep that going. My favorite things, like just in general, just my favorite TV and movies are just things that know how to end. And I think Dune ends very well. So.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, that makes me more excited for the second one. But also now, like, I hope it ends. I hope he doesn't already put it in the seed like for a third movie and the movie doesn't quite end.
That shit's filming. He's doing James Cameron level right now. That shit's filming right now. Fucking Dave Bautista is on set.
So yeah, we'll see. Very fun though. I'm sure Devin. I mean, when we texted him, he was like, "Oh no."
We already knew that man was pissed. So
yeah. All right, moving on to our last and final piece of news this week. This was from a post on Twitter from TV Tokyo. They talked about how they're gonna do a Pokemon drama series, a live action drama drama series, a Pokemon.
Pokemon struggling from the same thing that Sonic is, in that they got a weird resurgence that probably wasn't necessary, and they don't know what to do with it, so they're just fucking around.
I mean, and it's not even like hey, we're announcing that it's coming. Like it's done. Like it's
coming
called Pocket Filled with Adventure. It's premiering on October 19th in Japan. We don't know when it's coming in English or we'll receive a subtitle or not. But like it's in the can.
That shit is out. It's coming out. Like
that's crazy. Yeah. What that shit gonna look like?
We saw the picture of what looks like one of the main characters. She looks every bit of 28, despite probably supposed to be a high schooler.
She's probably gonna be 10.
Yeah, she's gonna be all of 12, but she is my age. I don't know, man. I'm one of the few people that was not super hype about Detective Pikachu. I just didn't think it really hit the way that I think that struggled a lot with hype.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Pokemon might be fucking up with this. They probably shouldn't do this.
Okay, well, let me tell you the premise real quick because maybe it'll interest you.
Oh, okay.
So it's not going to feature any real Pokemon in it. So
it's not going to feature Pokemon. There's no Pokemon in this. Okay.
Instead, it's going to tell the story of this girl as she connects with the Pokemon game, the video game franchise.
That sounds awful. I want to see fucking Pokemon. Where's Pikachu?
So apparently she is going to receive an old copy of Pokemon Red from her mother after moving to Tokyo to work at an advertising company following graduation. Okay, so she's not 10. Or she could be 10, who knows? She might be a genius.
Graduating 5th grade. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got, so like there's some I think that's where the drama comes, is that it's like it's gonna be maybe it's like a coming of age story.
It's Barbie, is what it is. A movie we've already seen that was probably better than whatever this is gonna be. It's fucking Barbie. Yes, I played Pokemon Red as well. Actually, I got Blue because my parents loved me, and they didn't. That's false. Who cares? I don't know. I'm trying not to shit on it too hard, but I just don't see. I don't know.
It's interesting.
It's gonna be one of those things that you're gonna forget it even existed. Where is it coming out? Where is it coming out?
I don't know. Japan.
Like, is it gonna be a movie? Is it gonna be on Netflix? Because it sounds like a Netflix original to me.
Maybe I don't know. Honestly, maybe it's a Japan Netflix. thing. Need a little VPN to watch it. I don't know.
Maybe you might be right there. Yeah, that's what I'm most interested in. If it's something they're trying to put out in theaters, no, don't do that. If it's
Right.
something that's gonna be on Netflix, like the Power Rangers thing, where it's like, oh, this is a fun little romp back to
Right.
nostalgia,
Right.
it'll probably do a lot better.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll hear whether or not it's good or not. But it's funny. It's real funny.
I will watch it regardless for the culture. Uh,
All right. That is our news for the week. Brian, we've done it once again. Shall we now hop into our main topic?
Let's do it.
But first, obviously, we're in a fortress again, so we're trapped. This is a fortress, unlike one we've done before. Listeners, we have covered video game consoles, we have covered video game genres, but we have not yet covered a single video game studio before. So this week, we're doing something a little different because we're in the fortress of
Bethesda Softworks. I think that's what they're called.
Bethesda Softworks, but the studio that makes games, they go by Bethesda Game Studios. Yeah, listeners, in honor of Starfield coming out, probably the most anticipated game of the year, I would imagine. At this point, they've been talking about this game for years. It's going to be the next fucking greatest thing in the world. Comes out very soon. People have already played it. Some people have already early accessed it. So yeah, we decided we're going to talk about the little retrospective history of the company that started this whole little RPG genre thing.
I do want to say first off, Imagine Dragons released their song that they made
Oh.
specifically for this game, and goddamn,
That song goes hard.
what?
I don't know why, but I dug it.
I mean, honestly, if anyone was gonna tell me that song went hard, it was gonna be you. I think that song made me not want to play Starfield anymore.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an Imagine Dragons fan, and I'm kind of sick of Imagine Dragons. But there were parts of that song where I was like, why did y'all do this for this video game?
Why did that man put his whole bussy in every single word he said in that goddamn
That's
song?
what I'm
My man
saying.
was screaming. He was
what
screaming
I'm
these
talking-
lyrics over at fucking going to space, and they showed us the most mid-ass space scenes when he did that. Was
That's
wild.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Coldplay walked so that
Yo,
Imagine
that's so
Dragons could
true.
run. Like
That's so
they're
fucking true.
such like just I don't even know how to describe it. Just Walmart walking and shopping music as a whole. So to decide that they should make the main song for your game is wild.
It's
Just
so funny.
so wild.
It's so funny.
And it's also super funny because I don't know if you know, but the dude that like the main like lead singer or whatever, man is shredded. Man looks like he could beat up anybody in the fucking squad. So I can't even make fun of him that much because he could kill me. He could literally kill me. I don't know.
Oh, it's funny as shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I hated that song. So it's funny that you like it.
Yeah, no, I'm not. It's pretty generic. I listened to it once. I probably won't really listen to it ever again. But it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But I was
Go
just like,
into space.
why did you? I
We
mean, the
got
lyrics
the
are
race. Like,
not
what do
very
you-
good. They're not very good.
Are you trying anymore? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's a lot of the same. But it was just like I was just like, why did y'all put your heart and soul into this bitch? Damn. Okay, I appreciate the effort.
My
though. Hell
man
yeah.
said rent is due.
It's expensive out here.
He said, I'm broke and rent is due. And he put his whole fucking pussy in that song.
Oh my god, that shit was so funny. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot about that.
Yes. I saw it on Twitter and I made so much fun of it. And everyone's like, yeah, I think you're probably right about this one.
Yeah. So yeah, listeners, we'll talk about we're gonna save some early like anticipation type hype thoughts about Starfield towards the end of this. But for now, Brian, where do you want to start? I mean, you're the bigger, but you have more experience in Bethesda games than I have. I'll let you know right now. The games I played are Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Skyrim. And in terms of Bethesda games that they've made themselves, not ones that they produced, because we might mention those later a little bit.
Sure.
Obviously things like Redfall and shit like that, but like things that they made in house is the list ain't that big to be, like a lot of game studios, they make a game like every 4. I mean, with Starfield, it's been like 8 years, I think, since Fallout 4.
They're definitely more about the quality over quantity, and the quality can be rough sometimes because these games are
Yeah, but-
buggy. You play a
Yeah.
Bethesda game, you know it's fucking buggy. So interestingly enough, I ended up playing. I got into Bethesda games from Morrowind, the third entry
Okay.
in the Elder Scrolls series, because it came out on Xbox, the original Xbox, and I kind of played it almost by accident because this is very much
2002.
Yes, it was very much a PC-centric game that existed, but then Xbox was like, well, we want that as well. So they put it on there. Me and my brother bought it. We didn't know what it was, and I fell in love with that game because of the role playing and just aspects of it. The fact that you got to create a
Right.
character. The world is an open world. You can do basically whatever you want to do in the game, and I loved it. I fell in love immediately, and that's kind of what brought me to Bethesda Games, was that kind of feeling of just like, it kind of felt like, especially in that time, like, this is Xbox, this is original Xbox. There's a
Right.
time that you kind of felt like you could do anything. I can just walk in a direction and just do shit, and that felt
Yeah.
really good. You know what I mean? That just felt really,
Yeah.
that's something we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It was like, holy shit. It was like equivalent to like GTA 3
Yeah,
in terms of,
exactly. It
oh
was
fuck.
definitely on par of that. Like, even it pushed that even further than GTA 3, where it's like, yeah, you have
Mhm.
this finite city or whatever, but it's like, I was actually going to different cities. I was going to different spaces, different
Right.
planes completely. In my little dark elf, I think my first character was a dark elf. Couldn't tell you his name. It was probably something fucking stupid. Uh, but yeah, it's just that feeling. And then they had like procedurally generated dungeons and stuff like that. And it was a
Right.
fulfilling game. It just felt like you could do what you wanted.
And they haven't changed that formula since.
They have not, and there's a lot of things that haven't changed, including the bugs that came with those games, where it's like, yeah, if I take a potion and throw it, and then also shoot an arrow at the same time, I can make 300 potions. And here I am. Now I have 300 potions. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
right. It
yeah.
is one of those things where it's like, it's not a Bethesda game without the bugs, and it's like, I don't know if I would want it without the bugs sometimes
I
though.
mean, to make a game like that, that's so, and they've always had such a high scope in what they try to make. To
Right.
to make a game like that without bugs, that's damn near impossible. Like, let's be real. But I do swear that their QA team was just like, you know what? We're not gonna
Let's
tell
leave
no,
these in.
we're not gonna tell anybody about this
Right.
week. We're just gonna let this shit slide. You know what I mean?
Not gonna log
I'm gonna get
none
my
of this.
paycheck. I'm gonna clock out. We're gonna call it another day. Fuck it.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, we're not, because how do you fix that shit? Because it can break so many other things. Like, making a video game is so hard, and
Oh my god, right.
we don't appreciate it enough. And I think Bethesda really shows how hard it is to make a video game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, like the first game from them that I heard about was probably Oblivion, which was their next game in 2006. 'Cause I know a cousin of mine that got it on Xbox when it came out, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is." And again, this is, I've never had an Xbox, so I was never able to play these early days Bethesda games because I wasn't a PC person either. Yeah, so Oblivion was the first one I heard about because I remember that fucking changed the world, much like you said Morrowind did to an extent. Oblivion was nuts.
I'm sorry. We got to give Patrick Stewart his fucking flowers for
Oh,
goddamn Oblivion. Spoiler alert.
I forgot about that.
Spoiler alert for Oblivion. Patrick Stewart is in the game. He is some king or whatever, fucking King Talos or some shit. He's some version of the King Talos.
Mhm.
That man has maybe 12 lines in the entire game. He read 200 pages of lore about the video game in order to play this role, and that man, once again, rent was fucking due, and he was like, I'm gonna put my whole ass bussy in this. And he sold that shit. He dies in the first 30 minutes of that game. But the way that he sells those
What?
lines and the way that he cared so much about that character that literally dies. Oh, he's
Right.
Tiberius something. I don't know. I should know more about this. I don't care enough. It doesn't matter. But yes, Patrick Stewart is one of the main characters that does die immediately in that game. And
Ugh, I love it. It's so funny.
he does amazing. And I love that because he's dead immediately. Why did you
Right.
care so much about this game?
There's some 200 pages he read,
He
man.
read 200 pages of lore about his character to die in 30 minutes. You can speed run it. Probably takes 7 if you speed run it. Kill 2 goblins and you're fucking done. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's so
Like,
funny. I forgot about that. Yeah.
yes. So I just wanted to give that little tidbit about Oblivion. Patrick
Yes.
Stewart is a great person. I love him, and I hope he never dies.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Protect them at all costs. Yeah, and then obviously the next this was the first game that I played coming up 2008. We get some Fallout 3, which if we thought Oblivion changed the world, fuck, Fallout 3 was revolutionary.
Yeah, it was the first 3D Fallout.
Right, that's true. Yeah, because I never knew about the franchise. I think like most people, I would imagine, until Fallout 3.
Yeah. They did full 3D, the first person. That's when we brought in the vet system, because they do
Yeah.
not know how to
Oh,
make a shooter. If they
and
suck at
some
one
would say
thing,
they still don't.
they suck at making some shooters. So that's why I'm a little bit scared about Starfield. Honestly, I don't know how to make any
Mhm.
games when it comes to just the mechanics, because fucking Skyrim kind of sucks too.
Yep,
When it comes to the fighting system.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was when they brought that whole thing, and I loved Fallout 3.
Ugh,
I
yeah.
thought that was an amazing game. Once again, that's when you start to learn that Bethesda does not know how to make a good main story, but they can write the hell out of a side quest.
Out of some side quests, yeah.
Because those side quests go so fucking hard to find the vampires under the fucking train system, and to
Yeah,
convince
oh
them
my
to
God,
not fucking eat
yes.
people. Like that is so good. Like
The
it's
things you can do in that game are just astronomical. Spoilers, or I should say, spoilers from a lot of these games, listeners. So just check the time codes or skip ahead. Well, obviously, like the moment you blow up Megaton in Fallout 3,
which you
and
can, you
it's
have a
just
choice to do. You don't have to blow up
right,
Megaton, but you certainly
right.
can if you fucking hate
You
it.
can, and I did just to get the achievement, and then I reset my save and didn't do it.
Yeah, I had to do it on a second playthrough. I couldn't do it in the first one. I like the
No,
homegirl that made the whatchamacallit, the little booklet about surviving in the
yeah,
wild. I liked her too
that was
much.
my squad, man.
Which is so funny because if you do blow up Megasun, she doesn't die. She doesn't die in the game.
Oh, for real?
She becomes a ghoul. And you can still complete those
Ah,
side quests.
that's
And
amazing. Holy shit!
she's mad at you for it. She's like,
I was about
fuck
to
you
say.
for blowing up Megaton, but also I'll still help you make this fucking book. Like fuck you.
That's fucking funny.
Which is really
Oh,
great.
that's so
Really,
good. I
really
didn't know
great.
that.
But that's the charm of Bethesda Softworks, is what the games they kind of make is like I can just
Mhm.
really just roll up and do some random ass shit. And that's
Yeah.
part of the charm of it. Like, yeah, the main story is whatever. I'm trying to find my dad, fucking whatever.
Played by fucking Liam Neeson, by the way.
Which is crazy because I always make him a black man. So it doesn't make any sense when he talks, but you know, fuck it. Go on. Yeah, I don't know how they got these big name people in these video games.
Because they got them in there for like 8 minutes. That's why.
Yeah, you got to kill them immediately. It's the big thing. Yeah, I think that's really the charm of the games that they make, and I think that's what makes them such a unique company as a whole. Is it's not so much about like them making like the best open world game or making the best choice based game. We know we have BioWare that makes the best choice based games. We know
Right.
I don't know who makes the best open world games. I think all open world games fucking suck. But they're really good at making a game that has like a certain charm that you just can't deny. And
Just walking around, I remember like when you first leave the vault in Fallout 3 and just walking around that world and be like, holy shit, this game is starting now.
yep.
Holy fuck. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Where am I going? If I go over here, I'm going to get killed by a death claw immediately. Oh shit.
Yeah, the music they play immediately, and then the sun kind of like rays into your eyes kind of
Ugh.
hard before it like resets. It's like, okay, here I am in this open world to do literally, like you said, whatever I want. I can go to the like the most obvious thing is to like go to the little town and see whatever
Right.
there is. But like I can literally just walk in any direction and find, like you said, some shit is not for me at this level that I'm at. I'm level
Nope.
1. I got a BB gun. I can't do shit, brother.
Right.
Like what the fuck?
All I've shot were fucking oversized cockroaches at this point.
And even them take multiple shots to fucking kill. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Like, yeah, but that feeling of just like I can do what I want. It's just like they were the first people I feel like to make it in the space that they did.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're just hailed as such a high company when it comes to the game.
I remember the first time I walked out there because, like, again, this was my first Bethesda game. So, and like, especially to like this level of RPG, where it's like I was just picking up everything on the ground in the
all the
supermarket
shit,
that I go
just
to,
loose
and I'm like,
cans.
oh shit, I got so much garbage that I don't need right now. I'm walking slow as shit. Fuck.
Hell yeah, you're encumbered. You're over encumbered. Fuck.
Yeah. So that was always hilarious. And then obviously finding your dog friend and getting companions and shit.
My boy
doing all,
Dog
like,
Meat, baby. That's my
Yeah.
guy.
absolutely. He's the best. Never fails.
I always download the mod Dog Meat Never Dies. That is the first thing I download whenever
That's
I play
the
the
thing,
game
is
again.
that with dog meat.
Yes. I mean, that's a big thing that I don't like companions in those games because they can die. They can fucking Lydia
Yeah.
in
Yep.
Skyrim fucking dies, and she's stupid as
Yeah.
hell. So she'll always
Yeah.
die. Nope.
I would always like with dog meat, like Lydia when I had her, I would just go into a dungeon, tell them to wait at the entrance, and I'll do the rest.
Yep.
And I'll meet you back here, guys.
I can do it. I don't need you because you're gonna fuck around. One, you're gonna
Yep.
get me spotted when I'm trying to be stealthy. Fuck
Yep.
you. And also, two, you're gonna die immediately, and I can't.
I can't deal with it.
I don't need that stress in my life. So
Exactly.
you wait
exactly.
here. I'll see you later. We'll come back. We'll reconvene.
Either that or I'll just like dog meat. You sit in my apartment and you sit
Yeah.
here forever.
Dog Meat never went on any adventures with me. That man was a house dog through and through. That man,
Yep.
you shit in the house. We do not leave. We do not go outside because if I
Absolutely.
lose you, I will die.
Yeah. Nope. It's game over for me. It's game over.
We're both gonna die if you die.
Oh my god, it was just such a phenomenal experience, especially like we said, being from the DC-ish area. It was cool to see a lot of these like streets and landmarks
Yeah.
as you walk through. Like you can go to DC and like it's not one for one, obviously, but it's like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. I always love the thing in games like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the subway system, I
Yeah.
which I hated, by the way, because so
Oh
I would
god.
always get the zombie mask or whatever it was
The
called,
ghoul
the
mask?
ghoul mask,
Hell yeah.
as soon as I could because I was
Yep.
terrified of going through the subway system. But it was
Yep.
really interesting to see it because it was, a derelict version of the DC subway system, the Metro.
Mhm.
But fuck, was that shit scary because it's always
Awful.
dark and there's always going to be ghouls and they're angry. They're angry. They're not hard
Mhm.
to fight, but for some reason, just it was too much.
They're just
It
creepy.
was too close to a horror game. Some were irradiated, so they'd be fucking glowing. Like I
Yep.
can't fuck with that. No, fuck you.
And sometimes it'd be worse wearing the ghoul mask because with the ghoul mask, they won't attack you. And so sometimes you'll just walk around the corner and one's just chilling there because it's not aggravated at you. I'm like, ah,
And
fuck.
he just looks at you with his fucking glowing eyes and just like,
Oh,
okay, all right, thanks. Bro.
horrible. Hated the subway system every time in that fucking game. Oh my god, it was awful.
Fucking terrible, dude.
Terrible.
Yeah. But it was
Fuck.
really interesting to kind of see, like, yeah, this is what a derelict subway system would probably look like. Like that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least for me, my last little fun Fallout 3 stories. I remember because I'm notorious for not finishing these games because they're too damn big. And so I finally, it was like the weeks leading up to Fallout 4's release. I was like, I'm gonna fucking beat Fallout 3. And so for like the last couple weeks before Fallout 4, I just went in there and just crushed it, beat all them fucking side quests, beat the main story, and like I think I beat the main story like the day before Fallout
Oh my
4 came
god.
out. And I was like, yes, I'm done. I'm done with this game.
Spoilers for Fallout 3. What did you do with your super mutant friend? Do you remember him?
Uh
Because
yeah.
he has choices of what he can do. He can save you, he can die, or you can die.
I think I died. I think I sacrificed myself. I was like, I'll die. Whatever. It seems like all of their games end with you being a fucking messiah or some
Right,
shit.
some kind of
Whatever.
martyr.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I'll die.
I usually choose me dying for sure. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's so fucking funny when he dies because you don't meet him that long before that part in the
Right.
story happens. And he's like, I'll protect you forever. Fuck you, man. Like, fucking die.
We
I don't give a
we
shit.
got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I want to live. I like my life. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. So it's always funny to see those kind of things happen because it's supposed to be really emotional. Like you're supposed to feel a connection to him. I do
Right.
not. He's a green man.
No.
I'm a human.
Yeah.
Fuck that idiot. He dies every time. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah. Phenomenal game. Just fucking what a great game.
Fallout 3 is really
2008.
great. I mean, Fallout New Vegas is really, really a good game, which is not made by Bethesda, but
No, Obsidian. Yeah.
is much better than Fallout 3.
Which that's all I ever heard. I never heard anything other than it's better than it's a fucking amazing Fallout game.
As far as choice-based games go, that is one of the biggest choice-based games, and where you can make decisions that will completely change the trajectory of your game completely. Like
Right.
it is one of those games that like a lot of like Telltale games, for example, make the fakeness of like, oh well, you made a choice. This is gonna make some. It doesn't actually do anything.
Right. Yeah.
If you say something wrong to the wrong person, your whole story changes. You will no longer be enjoyed by this faction. They do not like you, and you will not play that version of the game anymore.
Right.
They cooked with that one. I don't know, but Obsidian's a weird company, and that can be
They
a whole
really are.
different discussion as a whole. But they have made
Right.
somehow some of the best games I've played, despite being a company that only makes failed
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, right. It's kind of crazy the trajectory that they've gone on. It's so weird.
Yeah, but more about Bethesda. We got to talk about Skyrim. We've talked about
I was about to
Fallout.
say that
Skyrim has been remade 5 times now. That game came out in
More than that.
2011, and the most recent game I'm pretty sure came out in 2020.
that's fucking insane.
It's just crazy with the VR version, which I want to play so bad. VR Skyrim sounds like my fucking wet dream.
Right. Right.
I want to swing a sword in real fucking life. You know what
Honestly, because it'd probably feel better than the combat in that game
I mean? Yes.
does.
They're not known for their combat, and that's why they made the vet system with Fallout, and that's why they've
Right.
also made every other system to not make you swing your sword in the Skyrim and Elder Scrolls games.
It's like swinging at paper. You're swinging a piece of paper at air. That's what it
Yes,
feels like in this
yes.
game.
You basically just swerve back and forth and swing your sword,
Yep.
and that's how you win the game. Or you just play a stealth,
Archer, or use some magic.
Yeah, stealth
Yeah.
archer, and then you just shoot arrows, and then it must have been the wind. That you know.
Yeah, no, Skyrim What a fucking game. Again, I have always been more of a fantasy person than a sci-fi person or anything like that. So Skyrim was my jam. Still have yet to beat the main story, much obviously.
You're not missing anything.
No. But I remember, yeah, like we talked about Bethesda side quests. There are some of those side quests in this game that are just fucking phenomenal, man. The entire Thieves Guild stuff, so fun,
And
so
that
dope.
is just one of many side quests. Like
Right.
I've probably played Skyrim for thousands of hours at this point, and I will still revisit it every point in my life. I just it's one of the best games I've ever played. Like I can't deny it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
And then the mods just make it that much better. The people are so creative and making like new
Right.
stuff about this game. So I play a new experience of this game every time I play it.
Right.
And Bethesda is I won't not give them their flowers for what they've done
Oh
because
no. Yeah.
this game is crazy.
There's a reason why they've released Skyrim as many times as they have. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's just so funny because like the main story is nothing to write home about. Like it's very generic. It's very fucking hero versus
Mhm.
villain kind of situation. But the side quests are so crazy, and the way that you can kind of come about them, that's kind of what I want from like Starfield right now. It's like it's not so much about the fact that like the story is really good or that like my choices matter or anything like that. It's about the fact that I can go into a dungeon or go into a random fucking cave. I find fucking cannibals or something. They decide they
Yeah.
want to eat me. I convince them not to eat me because I brought them berries. You know what I mean? Like and like someone else that plays that game may never experience that situation ever.
No.
And that's the
Yeah.
craziest thing about it. Like I can play Skyrim to this day and still see things I've never seen before in my life. Like I can
Right.
just go into a random fucking place and be like, this woman's a vampire and she also
Yeah.
hates children and now she's
Yeah.
fucking killing children and now I'm finding I'm solving a murder about
Yeah.
children with this vampire. Why? What has happened?
Yeah.
But like that's just the way the game kind of works. And that's what makes it
Right.
feel so, I guess, immersive is the biggest thing. Because it feels almost like, it's real life. Like I can go when I go into the town. I'm like, oh, I want to
I
go
can
to the town.
be in a cult of werewolves.
Exactly. I'm just trying to buy some fucking potions. Oh, hey, adventurer, you want to be a fucking werewolf? And I'm like, not really. And like, well, fuck you then. We're gonna kill you now. And I'm like, what did I do? Oh no.
I should have said yes. Fuck.
No, what am I doing? And then that kind of shit happens. It has like a whole like a play out in what happens there, where those kind of things exist. Or like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going through the main story, and it's like, oh, I'm going and I'm having a costume party, and then this guy's like, hey, you want to do drugs? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I do some drugs. And the next thing I know, I'm passed out in a completely different city than where I started
Yup.
in. And I'm
Yup.
like, huh? What's
What the
going on?
fuck
And then
happened?
the whole storyline is me trying to figure out what happened when I was doing drugs. And it's like,
Yep.
that's so crazy. Like, that is such an interesting thing to exist in a game that shouldn't exist. In a game that I'm just
Yeah.
supposed to be fighting a dragon. You know what I mean?
You can meet a demon and interact with a demon and shit.
At one
like
point, a fucking dog talks to you, and you're just like, should I follow this dog? You pick yes or no. You pick yes. You end up in the craziest fucking situation in your life because you talk to a dog. Like,
Right.
and that's what's so inventive about these kind of games. That just it gives that like the closest thing to a feeling of like you can do anything. Of like, yeah,
Mhm.
I can just walk around. I'm just chilling with it. There's a dog.
Yeah.
What's up,
It
dog?
was insane.
Hey, dog, you want to do drugs? Yeah, I'll do drugs. And now
Yeah.
you spent 3 hours and you still never actually met the fucking dragon you're supposed to meet. Like, Bethesda makes good fucking games. I hate to say it. They
Yeah.
make good fucking games.
They do. Like you get lost, especially like Skyrim, you get lost in that world for hours.
I
Hours,
love
man.
Skyrim, which is so sad because Fallout 4 was not good.
Yeah, let's talk about Fallout 4 real quick because yeah, I was so hyped for Fallout 4, much like the rest of the world. I got it day one. I put in a decent amount of hours to it, and then I think I got to like the first major city, like Diamond City or whatever,
Mhm.
played a little bit, and then I was like, I think I'm done.
Yeah, I beat it. It took me a while to beat it. I did the same thing 'cause I bought it day one. And I started playing it, wasn't feeling it, and I was like, I'm gonna put this down for a little bit. Then I eventually revisited it once mods came out and stuff, and it was still just kind of like,
Mm.
this game is just still mid as fuck. I hate Preston Westcott or whatever the fuck his name is. You got a new fucking, I don't know, the city that needs your help. Fuck you. I am not helping any of these motherfuckers. Fuck them. They can die. Uh,
And like that's the thing. I was so excited going into that game. I think for one of the main reasons was it obviously looked like a more polished Fallout 3 in terms of everyone knows what Bethesda faces. We all know what it means now. It's when you are talking to an NPC They got Bethesda face. Their faces are terrible. Their eyes don't look at you. They look dead inside. It don't matter. Fallout 4, I was like, oh, they look like they've tweaked Bethesda face a bit, and it doesn't look as terrible
They
now.
they I've seen some clips from Starfield. It is the same. They have
They
not
still got
changed.
Bethesda.
They
Yep,
still
they
got
didn't
Bethesda
fix it.
face. Yeah.
Nope, nope.
The only cool thing is that if you had a normal name, they would say your name out loud. If you
Right.
did not,
Oh my god,
they
yeah.
would not say your name out loud.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But yeah, my name is Brian. So they're like, yeah, we can say that.
Yeah, a bit of a disappointment, but like it's one of those things that's on a list. If I had infinite money and infinite time, I would go back and finish one day.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it's just so mid. Like, there's still cool things they do, and the storyline's not the
Mhm.
worst thing I've ever seen. But it's just like the what we kind of talked about here is the big things of like the side quests and stuff just weren't grabbing. I didn't feel
Okay,
immersed as I
yeah.
would have in another game where it felt kind of empty. There just wasn't much there, and that was disappointing.
Yeah, because I didn't get as far as in as I would have liked. So, and I always wondered what the biggest problem for people was. So I guess yeah, if it's the stories, the side quests, which is that's kind of important in a game about story. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just it's the map is small, the stories aren't engaging, nothing's really
right.
immersive. The main story is fucking trash. It's not. It's just not interesting at all to me personally.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair
It
enough.
just there was a lot of things missing from it. Then we had Fallout 76, which ooh, I
Ooh boy,
don't know
what?
what the fuck they were
Oof.
cooking with that one. That was definitely we want to make some money, and we don't know how to, so they try their best.
Yeah, like I think it's a playable game now. I think people it's kind of No Man's Sky a bit
Hmm.
where enough updates happen that people are like, actually, it's kind of fun now. But when that shit launched, whoo boy,
It was unplayable. It was an unplayable video
yeah.
game.
Because listeners, this if you don't know what Fallout 76 is, this was a game where they attempted to create a Fallout world where you could play with your friends. I remember back in the day when they said there will be no NPCs.
I,
I was like, that is not
and they said
possible.
that with so much confidence, and it was like, "What are you doing?"
They're like, people will take role. So I was like, wait, so you're telling me some random human is gonna choose to be, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna be the merchant and sells you shit and not go on adventures. That makes no fucking
And it really
sense.
makes no fucking sense because it wasn't like an MMO. It's not World of Warcraft. You can only have 12
No.
people per server. So you're telling me one of 12 people is going to be like, I'd like to be a merchant. I'd like to sit around and give people quests.
Right.
No, that's never going to be a. What are you thinking? What's going on? Yeah, they were not cooking when they made that game.
Like, I love the idea in on paper, but no one wants to be the merchant.
I mean, Ultima Online, like some shit, even World of Warcraft, they might be some fucking role playing where it's like, yeah, I want to be the bartender or whatever. You're like that.
Right.
That's whatever. This is not that kind of game, and they knew it was not
No.
that kind of game. So I don't know why they ever thought that that would be something that would work or exist.
I don't know if this was like they were forced to like we need a game. We need to get in this whole MMO or online co-op-y thing. But yeah, that shit did not work. I'm glad to hear that it's working better now. Obviously, they added NPCs, they added people that'll give you quests and shit. It's not as
I'm
buggy.
telling you, it's one of those Todd Howard things where it's just like Todd Howard. I think he's the CEO of Bethesda. That man just be
Mm.
saying shit. He just be that man just says whatever, and you just gotta either decide whether or not you want to believe
It's
it. And he was like,
great.
"Yeah, you know what? We're not gonna have any NPCs. You're just gonna fucking cosplay like what do you like? You like drugs? You're gonna cosplay the fucking drug dealer. Like
Right.
Todd Howard. No, we're not gonna do that. There's only 12 of us. What the fuck are we gonna do? We're gonna play video games together because we're 12 of us. What?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's one of those kind of
Yeah,
situations for sure.
it's funny. And that was it. That's it. I mean, they released some mobile shit. They did some Elder Scrolls Blades, Fallout Shelter, shit like that. We're not really talking about those. Here we are with Starfield.
Which we know it's coming out early access now. It came out August 31st for early access for the people that spent the $90.
Yep.
$90.
That's oh boy.
In
Oh
order to
boy.
play it, or $30 if you were on Xbox and also had
When
Xbox
did the
Game
early
Pass.
access start?
I believe it was August 31st. So it was
You
this
pay
weekend.
$90 to pay it for 6 days early, a
Yes.
week early.
And the game comes out on Wednesday. So they paid
Fuck
to
that.
play on Friday. The game comes out the next Wednesday.
Yeah, no,
When
fuck
this
that.
will come out. So yeah.
Nope. Nope.
It's on Game Pass, by the way. So I will be
Yeah.
playing on a Game Pass. I am very interested in the game, but I'm not going to pay $90 to play it early. I knew I don't have the time for it, period.
Mhm.
So I can wait a little bit of a week. But it is a game that is offering a lot.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's not offering as much as I think they said. Like we've heard things of boundaries on planets and yada yada yada. A lot of
Right.
reviews are already out, so we can talk about these things where there people have their issues with it, and it might be one of those games where like a Fallout 76, it gets better along the way, but is that okay? Is the question. Like, is that fair to the consumer?
It's tough. I think all games should come out completed.
Yeah.
I'm a very
Yes.
big fan of games coming out completed, and I hate the fact that we're allowing games to do what they basically do, where they come out in early access. Cyberpunk is a great example, which is getting its first
Yep.
expansion and only expansion, and people now consider that one of like the top 10 games of the past 3 years. Crazy.
Crazy.
That game literally was breaking people's systems where you couldn't play your system anymore because that game existed. Wild.
Yeah.
Now it's one of the best games ever come out. I don't know. Starfield is kind of similar when it comes down to that, where it's like I do think it will be a game that will be better when mods come out because the mod community is amazing.
Oh
Any
yeah.
any issue that comes out in those games, they will fix it
Right.
way quicker than Bethesda themselves ever will, which is crazy that happens. But it's one of those
Which
things
is
that happen.
sad. It's a bit
It's a little
sad.
sad, but I also love that it can happen.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it's just like I am still excited about this game because I do want it
Mhm.
to be another Skyrim. Like I revisit Skyrim probably once every year or so. Like I still
Right.
will, even if I don't beat the game, I'll still like go and just try some new mods or
Yeah.
try like find some different storylines I've never found, play a class I've never played before. Things like that. It's just like it's a really interesting way to revisit those games. I want
Yeah.
Starfield to be like that because that game came out in 2011. I beat it in 2011, beat it in 2012, beat it in 2013. I hope Starfield is like that. That I want to revisit it.
Right. And it seems like it's gonna be very subjective. It's gonna vary from person to person whether or not this game works for you or not, which is interesting. I mean, like I think a lot of games are like that. This one just seems to be very much in that, even more so than other
And
games would
that's
be.
my big thing. I do think that it's like you said, we talked about it a little bit off podcast, where I think it is suffering from the hype that people
Yes.
are expecting more than what the game is. Like this is not No Man's Sky. It's not the whole thing that
No.
you just fucking drop into wherever you drop and you just go anywhere. It's not that
Mhm.
kind of game. That's not what I want personally. That's not what I want out of this kind of game. I want personally, like we kind of talked about, I want to walk into a random cave, find some cannibals, and then I find out that I have to fucking solve the issue by teaching that sandwiches exist.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Like
right.
I
Yeah.
don't want to have a full stream fucking. I don't want to walk on Saturn, which is a fucking gas giant, which doesn't make any sense to walk on that anyway. That was a whole big thing on Twitter that we had to deal with. And people were like, "Why can't I walk on Jupiter? This game fucking sucks. You can't walk on Jupiter because Jupiter doesn't have anywhere to fucking walk. You dumb idiot. What's wrong with you?" But also, I just don't need to walk seamlessly through a whole planet. But I do want to be able to engage in like random activities that turn into
Right.
something really big and really interesting outside of the
Mhm.
main story. I think
Yeah.
Fallout 4 struggled with that a whole lot because there just wasn't much interesting outside of the main story. So if, as long as they hit that kind of note, I'm sold. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that is
No, that's
what
fair.
I want. I want to be able to find a random cave and then find like a really random, breadcrumb trail to this
Yeah.
random ass story that I've never seen before. And that's like my third playthrough. Like that's interesting.
I am both happy and sad that I do not have access to this game, being a PlayStation person, because one, obviously, like I love Bethesda games, and it would be a lot of fun for 40 hours for me, and
Right.
then I would never play it again and never beat it and all that shit. And again, it gets to a thing where it's like, for me, games are too big at this point for
Yes.
me. With the time that I have, I'm just like, I just don't want to spend. I don't want to play Starfield for the rest of my life. That's amazing that people, and I'm happy for the people that do. I do not want to play Starfield for the rest of my life. Spider-Man 2 is coming out. I'm sure another God of War is gonna come down the line. Some Last of Us shit's gonna come. I want to play other games other than Starfield.
Right,
But
right.
good for those people that want to play this forever. But no, it's looked a lot better than what it had in the past. But yeah, think I even said I guessed that it would probably be like an 8, maybe a 9 for some places, and it looks like it's somewhere in those realms. 'Cause I just yeah, I thought it was gonna be Skyrim in space, and it seems that's not like a negative when I say that either. That's like, because obviously we just fucking came all over for Skyrim because it's a fucking phenomenal game, so it's not a negative, but, like, it's a Bethesda game. It's gonna have bugs, it's gonna have Bethesda face, but you're gonna have a good time playing it, you
Right.
know?
Some of the storylines I've created in fucking Skyrim are so ridiculous, and it's one of those things that just feels so good to be like, yeah, I just went to the random cave, and then this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and like that's so crazy. So yeah, that's exactly what I want in this game, and if it delivers even a fraction of that, I think I'll be satisfied personally.
Right.
People
Yeah.
are gonna expect what they expect. That's fine. I don't give a fuck.
I don't think it's gonna be it's not at least from what we've seen and, all of the stuff that's already come out, it doesn't look like it's gonna be the greatest game of the generation. It's not going to change the world, but maybe it does what Xbox needed it to do.
We already know Baldur's Gate 3 is doing that, so it doesn't
That's true. That's very
if there's
true.
a best game in the world, it's that game. So fuck Starfield. We already know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm excited for what I'm going to play. As long as it's better than Fallout 4, I will have a good time.
Yeah.
I hope everyone that is interested or excited about playing that game understands what video games are, and don't give yourself too much. It is a video game. It has limits. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Enjoy your game. Play it.
But I also, like we talked, I think, off pod about how, like, I wouldn't blame them because of all the shit that Bethesda and Xbox were saying about this fucking game, man.
Xbox is
you
struggling
set
right
the
now.
bar incredibly fucking high.
And that was their biggest thing. And I do think that's a really big issue with Todd Howard. Is he likes to over prepare people for what they're
and maybe
get.
it's a thing where they thought that was the case. They thought they could do the things they talked about, and shit changed. But who knows?
I mean, it happened for BioWare. BioWare was a big thing with that. Mass Effect Andromeda was going to be a completely different game than it ended up being because people had a really high anticipation on what they wanted to do, and it just wasn't plausible. It just wasn't a viable solution to what they were trying to make. So they spent
the Fallout 76 thing where
they spent the next 6 months trying to make a different something because they couldn't. They found out, 2/3 through development, like, oh shit, we can't do this.
Exactly.
This is hard. Wait a second, holy shit. Yeah, and then they make something else. So that's I don't know.
We'll see. But listeners, look forward to hearing Brian's thoughts on Starfield next week. I'm sure Brian is eager to get his hands on it.
I am ready to play.
So we'll talk some Starfield probably next week and some free for all this. So we'll see. That is the main topic, listeners. That is it. Bethesda, fucking phenomenal game. We didn't talk about any of the stuff they produce. Obviously, they also produce other things like Deathloop and Redfall and all the other shit, Doom. Maybe that's for another day, though. But for now, Brian, shall we now move into our final segment of the week?
Let's do it.
Which we like to call Free for All, listeners, title pending. This is a segment where we like to do whatever we want. We talk about our day, talk about life, recommend something, fight, nap. It is free for all. I can quickly go first, Brian, because as you know, I'm on my Attack on Titan once a day rewatch. So I've hit a point now. I watched I don't know if I'm sure they came out with what they call these OADs, the original animation DVDs, whatever. Like basically these special episodes that they release with like certain volumes of the manga or some shit. And there's like 8 episodes in total after all these years. I finally got to go and watch all of them. They're fine. They don't add much. Some add more than the others. None of them are really all that terrible, but it's just, I think it's like if you're a completionist or if you really like the universe and you want to see more of it, they're not a bad watch. They're pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's not what my free for all is entirely about. This is what my free for all is entirely about. Because with that, I also watched the Attack on Titan live action movie.
Oh no, I hear they're atrocious.
There are 2 parts. There's part 1 and part 2, each about 90 minutes. So 3 hours of my life I will not get back. Yeah, it's somehow worse than what I thought it was gonna be.
Did you ever see Dragon Ball Evolution by chance?
No, I saw bits and pieces, but no, I did not subject myself to that.
I would love to know if you thought that was better or worse, because that was an atrocity by all means. I've never felt more disrespected by a movie before in my life, and I saw it in theaters. I spent money to go see that.
Oh yeah, no. This shit. Look, I would imagine if you were not an Attack on Titan fan, didn't know what Attack on Titan was, you wouldn't hate this as much. It's still not a good movie regardless.
Sure.
But with knowing what the story of that show is, this shit is fucking terrible. Dude, it's just like it was so funny. As it started, I was like, "Oh, damn. I should have had us all like watch it together and like record that shit or something and just like as like something fun to have." Cuz this shit was started out as it was fucking funny. I was like, this is nonsense, bullshit. What are we doing? And then as I got towards the end of part 1 and especially into part 2, I was like, I am just tired now. I just really want this to end now.
It's funny because I wanted to see it for the culture. So I would have watched it with you. But I also understand there's a very big difference between funny bad and boring bad.
And that's the thing. That's the shitty thing is that there are moments of funny bad, but you got to get through the bad to get to them. There are some moments in this that had me fucking dying, dude.
Really?
Like actively, I don't want to spoil it because I do think you should watch it or at least watch bits because there are some shit in this that will make you laugh your ass off. It is so because obviously, look, it's interesting what they do with the story and the characters. Obviously, I'll just say one of the biggest things is they deviate from the source material to quite a bit in certain parts, and
Mm-hmm.
also are very faithful in others. So it's a weirdly weird tone throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just fucking nuts. I was like, what was this intended to be a one off? And then there's a post credits where it's like, nope, where they wanted to make more. I was like, then why didn't you just do what the original story then? If you were gonna, I thought if this was just be a one off story and we were never gonna bring it up and done, you wanted to cap it and be complete. Okay, I can kind of see what you're doing here because obviously you can't do the whole series because it obviously wasn't done when this came out in 2015. But they fucking had the balls to be like, "There's more to come." I'm like, "No, there's not."
Is there? Are you sure?
It was just so just fucking terrible and bad, and I was just like, I slowly wanted to die.
That's so funny. Yeah, I wasn't expecting much, but I'm glad that you watched it because I had plans to, but I never had the gall to actually sit through it.
Oh God,
So I'm
man.
glad to know that it actually sucks as much as I figured it would.
Because like honestly, going into it, I thought this is gonna just be because I had heard not great things, so I just assumed it was because the CG is not gonna be great. It's gonna be just like I thought it was gonna be a rushed version of parts of the anime or the anime and the manga story crammed into 3 hours, and it'll end maybe at the end of season 1 or some shit.
Right.
No, it's just nonsense.
It's not.
It's just fucking nonsense. It's crazy what happens in this movie.
Oh
It's so
my
funny.
gosh. Yeah, I definitely I feel like I have to for the culture to watch it. So I'll put it on my list for sure for my Thursday
Please
night.
get some beers. Maybe we'll Discord watch it or some shit because
Yeah,
it is
I'm
something.
way more down for it than you think I am. I'm down to just fucking, it sounds like something
Yes.
you can't watch sober. So
I wish I hadn't. To be honest. To be
that was
honest.
me with Cocaine Bear. To be fair, I was like, why am I sober watching this shit? What the
Right. So yeah.
fuck?
I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I'm done. I never have to go back ever again. But my God, what an experience! What an
Nice,
experience!
nice.
And shout out to God of War Ragnarok. What you
I
got,
was
Brian?
I was really afraid that you weren't gonna say that, so I was gonna say it for you if I couldn't get it.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, so speaking of movies, I couldn't do my Thursday night because I've been trying to watch a new movie every Thursday. I didn't have time to do it
Right.
this Thursday because I was doing other shit. So I decided to go see a movie that I saw on Twitter some clips about called
Oh,
Bottoms. If you've ever heard of that,
I
it's a
haven't.
really random movie that is actually only selected theaters. So it's really fucking random
Huh.
to watch this movie. There was me and 3 other people. I watched a matinee on Saturday. This movie is so fucking unhinged, but at the same time might do more for feminism than Barbie ever could have.
Oh, I do. I just looked this up. I saw the trailer. For
You saw the
this
trailer
movie.
for Bottoms? So Bottoms, for people that don't know, is a story about 2 high school girls that want to fuck a couple cheerleaders. So in order to fuck a couple cheerleaders, they make a fight club, an all women's fight club. That is the story of this, and I wish that even told a half of what this becomes. Because me saying that sounds like, oh, so like maybe it's like Fight Club, the movie that we saw, or whatever, or maybe it's like a little bit of a like rom-com or something. No, this movie is so fucking unhinged on so many levels. The humor is so fucking dark. I cannot over enunciate how crazy this movie is. It did not
Oh,
go
fuck.
anywhere in what I expected, which made it so funny to watch because I knew it was a selected release, so I knew that like not a lot of people were going to see it regardless.
Right.
And I was going to see a matinee, so I went at 11:30 on Saturday. There were 4 people in the theaters, all women, and
Yeah.
then me. I was the 4th person.
Right. Oh shit.
And holy shit, this movie goes places that I would never expect any movie to go. Like the humor is so it's not smart humor. It's so fucking dumb. Everything is so dumb. Like I'm trying to think of ways to like talk about it without spoiling anything because you need
Right.
if you're even remotely interested in the movie, go see it, please. I want this movie to
Okay.
make money
Okay.
because I think it's a really funny movie.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it a whole lot. I think it's a really good movie. I don't even say it was a good movie because some parts are really stupid and maybe it shouldn't exist. But if you have a dumb sense of humor or if you like Twitter at all, you'll like this movie. Like
What?
if you It's one of those movies that like Tumblr would fucking go crazy over this movie.
Right.
There's like one point where it's just like, I guess the fair, there's a fair scene where it's like these girls talk to like the girls that they like, and obviously one is like super straight, the other one's like, oh, we're not sure if she's straight or not. So homegirl is like, oh, like you can eat a hot dog. I think you can eat a hot dog and you'll be fine. Kind of like
Oh no.
a la like what the fuck's the movie Napoleon Dynamite? Where it's like, oh, I think you can drink whole milk or whatever. So she kind of does that play. And she's like, no, I'm trying to get fit or whatever I can't do. And she's like, no, I think you can eat a hot and the bun. I think you get a hot dog. Josie, what do you think? And then Josie talks. She's trying to rizz up the other girl. So she's like, you know what? You're skinny too. I think you're so. Call the police because you're so skinny. I think that we should call the ambulance because you might pass out because you're so skinny. And like that, she just goes like way too long about how skinny this girl is. And it's like, that's so stupid.
Right.
It's so stupid.
Yes.
But it's so fucking funny because the girl's just looking awkward the entire time.
It's the awkward humor.
Exactly. It's very dry humor, very Office-esque. But something about it just hits. So basically, long story short, I would recommend this movie to anyone that likes stupid humor. Anyone that likes anything that's intelligent, don't watch this movie. It's not. But I enjoyed it. I hope this movie makes money. It's in select theaters right now, so I don't know if it's around the people that might want to watch it. But Twitter sold me on this movie, and it's right up my alley.
People are apparently liking it, so hey,
it was right up my alley. I'd probably give it like an 8 or 9 out of 10. I think it was fucking funny. The end is so dumb. It's so fucking. The end almost is what brings down points for me because it's so fucking dumb. But
oh no, okay.
If you like dumb, it is for you.
Yeah. I might have to go check this out because I do remember seeing that trailer and like this movie is unhinged.
I would say bring a girl that likes the internet.
Okay. Good to know.
If you got a girl that likes the internet, she will love this movie.
All right, good to know. Oh, that's amazing. Bottoms, listeners. Check it out.
Yeah.
That is our show, listeners. You can email us at thefortress@gmail.com, Fortress spelled F-O-U-R. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, recommendations, or anything like that. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Follow the 3 R's like a big, beautiful Bollywood movie. Rate, review, and recommend us to anyone and everyone you know. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art, Alex for the music, and Devin, thank you for being here, even when we think you're dead in real life. We don't think he's fine, listeners. We're pretty sure. You can find Brian on Instagram at IGC_. By the way, Alex at Peterson Films, and Devin, you can find him with his phone off and him. We don't even know. We don't know.
we literally don't know. We have no idea.
We don't know. We'll find out. It seems to be this is why he's Mr. Nowhere. Next week, listeners, I don't know. Obviously, Brian will talk about some Starfield, I would imagine, at some point. Continuing some Ahsoka journeys. Yeah, we'll see what's going on in the world, and we'll be here to talk about it. Yeah. As usual, happy holidays, and put a code on his code out there.
Play Starfield, but don't land on gas giants, because that's not allowed. You can't do that in real life. You fucking idiot.
Enjoy Starfield, everyone. We'll see you here next week in another episode on The Fortress of...